What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So clearly you see the title of the broadcast, and this is what went down. So apparently, of course, they're outside of the Charlie Kirk offices in Phoenix. And of course, there's a memorial out there. Like anybody that passed, you will have a memorial for them, even family members, loved ones, things like that. But of course, this is outside of the the offices that Charlie Kirk ran for his program. And you had this young man come up there and completely just trample all over the situation, just running through the situation, kicking stuff over, things like that, out there with all those grieving people. This is crazy right here. And this comes to show that the level of, humanity and actual understanding is just truly going out the window. This can't be duplicated. This is truly how a lot of people are acting in America, and it's sad. So we're going to go here now. Check this out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people. So this is what's going on. As you can clearly see what was happening here. I'm showing this first to give you guys a full video footage of what actually went down. Yeah, so the citizens are, Charlie Kirk's followers, whatever, is, captured him. As you can clearly see, he's actually wearing the same shirt that Tyler Robinson was wearing, which is, kind of crazy here. This is wild right here. So, all right, we're going to keep going here because we're going to go to the news report of this situation, and we're going to see what was said on this news report, how things actually went down. So let's go here now.
And as we were talking about that, the memorial continues to grow outside of Turning Point headquarters in Phoenix, Arizona, but obviously concern over the temperature rising about political violence. And we're seeing some of that today. And this, a post on social media from Fox News saying, Justin, a man has been arrested after vandalizing the Charlie Kirk Memorial outside of TP USA headquarters in Arizona. The suspect identified as a 19-year-old Ryder Corral there. So we're also getting this video that I want to show you of some of this because we've been diving into the latest with just some of this memorial growing. But this was the scene that was captured by Fox News a little bit earlier on. You can see people addressing this individual, potentially vandalizing what was going on there with this memorial, people stepping in, just average citizens, not necessarily law enforcement, but ultimately law enforcement did get involved as this suspect identified as a 19-year-old, as a man is arrested. So you can see police, Phoenix police there on hand, putting this individual in handcuffs or zip ties just across the street, as so much has grown since Wednesday. And we saw the initial outpouring for Charlie Kirk, the conservative commentator there in Arizona, a group that he founded a dozen years ago, co-founded a dozen years ago. Obviously, you see this individual now being let off is the memorial balloons, flowers, flags showcased on hand. And that is concerned potentially for next week. Any outside agitators, that is a kind of term that police, law enforcement have been using, but obviously concerned in terms of that with the memorial that's going to be taking place next week in Glendale, Arizona, a very large venue, the NFL stadium of the Arizona Cardinals. Again, a live picture right there at that venue, but we're seeing different memorials pop up. This was the scene of where that initial vandalism, the arrest took place earlier on today. It is quite
okay. So I showed you guys that in the previous video before in the previous broadcast before I showed you this one from the network here. So this is what it is, man. And we're dealing with a horrible situation here where some people agree with Charlie, some people don't, things like that. The grievances of people's opinions and things like that should not allow them to be deleted or memorials treated this way. You wouldn't want your memorial or to be deleted because of your opinion, because this is what this really boils down to. And that's what it really boils down to. Your opinion, if you don't agree with somebody else, you should be deleted for it. And like I said, that type of door does not need to be open. This is crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? If you really go through Charlie's work and stuff like that. Of course, nobody agrees with everything anybody says. But listen, look, man, like I said, man, the dude has certain points about things. I'm sorry, in my mind. And, I don't see him being hateful or anything like that. Where's the hate? Where's the hate and where's the action behind the hate? Because what I'm saying, when you're a part of these, like they call them Nazis and all, Hitler and all types of stuff, like, Hitler actually did things.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
He did more things than he talked about. So, I mean, I don't get it, but, we're living in a day and time to where people are so sensitive till we can't sit down and have conversations anymore. And that's going to cause a huge problem. That's going to cause a huge problem. And we need to sit down and actually understand that we have to keep conversations going in order to find solutions amongst, each other on this planet with different opinions. Definitely over here in America, because we're going down fast. And yes, I'm focused on America because this is where I live. You know what I'm saying? And this is where I reside. This is where I work. This is where I pay taxes. This is where, my child lives, my family members, all types of stuff. And yours do too. So we have to, stop this rhetoric. And, of course, I'm starting to see a lot of people are changing their mindsets due to this situation occurring. And they're looking at the facts instead of, just what Charlie was saying most of the time. Some people are actually diving off into what Charlie did say, truthfully, watching the actual footage, interviews, stuff like that the whole way through, listening to what was actually going on, the explanations, the questions that was asked, the explanations that were given, and also, things like that. So yeah, it's not just a one-off with anybody that has an opinion on this planet. And we are not, needing to be so egregious to where we can't listen to anybody else. And for the people that can't listen and stuff like that, or not can't, but that won't listen because they don't care about humanity, life, or even themselves, what I'm saying? We need to actually set those people in a certain light and keep them at bay. I mean, sometimes I think we need to bring back the insane asylums, the with the rooms, with the padded rooms, with the jackets that make you hug yourself. I'm just saying here. It's because it's crazy out here. It's crazy. This is wild right here that, people would do such things and stuff like that. Just think of like, if this was you or your family member and stuff like that, they out there, friends, whatever, and somebody just came along and did this to you because, you had difference of opinions. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.